What is it?
What's that? Is there a hole in there? What's down there? What do you see down there? What do you see? Mess down there? A big mess?
There's a hole in that floor. She found it.
Alright, good morning everybody. Arend here from Countryside Acres. It is a bit of a snowy day, not too bad. Kids are goofing around in the snow, making trails, and who knows what. And I decided, well, not I guess, Anneesa really would like stairs in here. Right now, when we're here, we travel from downstairs to upstairs via outside. And it's cool enough now that for the little tykes, it's not that much fun. And it brings a lot of stuff in. You come in, you get a lot of dirt and snow and everything else every time people go in and out. Most of that could easily be eliminated simply by putting the stair hole in. So we got Wes to cut the vinyl off of that. This hole was already there, same as the one for upstairs. We have already prepared for it, but we closed it off for safety reasons and also just to keep the dirt and the dust from construction up here. So we're far enough now, there's not really that much dirt and dust anymore. It's going to be time to open it up and actually build the stairs. So we have bought the material for that a long time ago. There's the stringers right there. And all the treads are right there. Pardon the... It is still a construction zone after all. It's not technically a house. So we're going to try putting that together today. It's not super complicated to build stairs. It's more complicated to build good stairs that don't squeak and don't make noises, but it's not rocket science either. All the information for it and for everything else in life can easily be found on the internet. And so I think a lot of people overcomplicate things or they turn it into a specialty or something. You can literally do anything. If you put your mind to it, there's nothing you can't do. And I tell my kids that all the time too. Don't limit yourself. There is nothing you can't do. You can't say, well, I can't. Yes, you can. You just haven't done it yet. Right? Everything can be learned and you can teach yourself anything. And in today's day and age, you have even less excuse because it's all on the internet. If you want to learn it, you could find the information on the internet and teach yourself how to do it. It's not that hard. If you don't want to, that's fine. Hire somebody else. But all these people talk about being a specialist in this or a specialist in that. And I just think that's so silly. You don't have to specialize in something in order to do something. You can literally do whatever you want, whatever your brain comes up with. Just do it. All right, so to build the stairs, you need some proper measurements. You need to know your height from the basement floor up. So in this case here, I guess we're not building these stairs today, but from this floor to this floor, you need to know this height. You also need to know your distance. So again, for this particular case, I need to know my distance from this piece of wood here to this doorway. And I want to stay back a little way so I have some room for trim. But you need to know those two distances. Reason is so that you can figure out the other plane. There's basic math again, but you need to know A, you need to know B, and with those measurements you can figure out C. If you didn't do well in math, A squared plus B squared equals C squared. And that's very easy math, right? And so that's why you need to know those two measurements. That'll give you this, and then if you have a construction calculator, it makes it even simpler. Those can also be found online. Then it will tell you precisely how much you want. But a comfortable stairs, you want to stay about 7 inches on a height, and about 10 inches on a tread is nice. If you go on a longer tread, it's even more comfortable. And if you have old people, you want to stay closer to 7 inches, maybe a little bit less, because it's harder for them to lift their feet. The lower you go, the longer you want your treads. Okay, and the taller you go, the shorter you go with your treads. And it's kind of a nice math. 7-10 is fairly common. And people will have different measurements, but it's just a matter of making a comfortable stairs. In our case, we're still young enough, and I'm also limited a little bit by space here in the house. And so we're going to go a little bit taller. We're going to be about 8 inches. And our tread width is, well, actually in centimeters, it'll be about 22, 23 centimeters. So So it should be fairly comfortable when we're all done. But you need to know those numbers, and then you can lay it all out on your stringers. The long side pieces of your staircase are called stringers. That's the left and the right. The other ones are called treads. And the ones that go on the back where your toes would bang against on your stairs, that is called the riser. So you have a riser, you have a tread, and you have stringers. And those make the parts of a stairs. All right, another trick for building a stairs is getting yourself a nice framing square. Now I'm used to doing this in inches. This will be the very first stairs I've ever built in centimeters, but the thing is basically the same. So if it was inches, you would lay this, let's go to the stringer. In order to make the notches to know where they go, let's say this is the top, this is the bottom. You need to lay these on here in such a way, again, this is centimeters, so I'm a little bit messed up. But basically, you're gonna find your tread height and your tread width, or your riser height, I guess, and your tread. And you're going to match those up. So I normally build a jig. I haven't done that yet, but I will, and then I will show you. And once you lay that on here, this will be the same for every single one, and it'll give you your angles of cut. So I'll go build my little jig, and I'll show you. So what you do, take a piece of 2x4 like this, mark it so you have the halfway point, make a line, and cut that. Don't cut all the way through, just cut that chunk out. Okay, once you've got it cut, then you need to install this in the cut. Fair enough. You need to match it up to where you like it. So my riser height I have measured on this side, and my tread height I have measured on this side. Once you have them exactly where you want them, again, you're in this cut, then you take some screws and you screw, not through the square, right beside on these to hold and squeeze it. There is actual tools you can buy that clamp onto the square. I don't have that. I do have lots of 2x4, and this works just as well. This now allows you to slide this along your stringer and make your marks. A pencil line here and a pencil line here. Okay, so now that you have your jig, you got your measurements. These are steeper than I would normally make them, but I was limited to space here. So you run this down the bottom, okay? And then you have this point made right there. From that point, you can then line up the next one. And you see what I was saying about how easily you can slide this along? It's very nice. So you line that up, see what I did there? And then you can mark both your tread and your riser. And you just keep doing it all the way along until you have the desired amount that you need. Alright, when you're all done, you'll end up looking like this. So this is the bottom, this will be sitting on the concrete floor, and this is your risers, and then you're going to work your way all the way through to the very end. And then this one gets cut off, and this will be going up against the floor, up against that, except for basement floor. Next step is to make a big mess and cut it all. I could take it outside, but it's kind of miserable out. We'll just do it in here and sweep it up. All right, change of plans. It's a big mess, big mess. I think we're just gonna go outside and do it. All right, when you're all done with that, it should look kind of like this. Next step is to look around and make sure there's no little kids. Hey, you, stay away from the hole.
My heart starts racing when I'm with you. When I'm with you. Can't get enough of this.
Okay, next step after dry fitting it, making sure it's good and you didn't make any mistakes, is laying it on the other stringer and tracing it. So this essentially acts as a pattern so that the other one, if there's any deficiencies or any goofballs in it, the other one will be identical. Simply lay it on and mark it out. Important thing to do that I didn't show you earlier, but if your board is crowned, if you know what that means, I can try to show you on this board because it has a healthy crown on it. I don't know if you can tell, but it's not perfectly straight. You see how it's dipped? It's got a dip in it like this, kind of like a banana, and it's pointing that way, which is what you want. When you're walking on the stairs, you're walking on this side, which will actually cause, it won't, but in theory the weight would cause it to do this. So you would want it crowned up. If the board has a crown, put it up so that when you're walking on it, if it over time it ever sagged, it would end up straightening the board and not making it more crooked.
What if the world had more of your smile? What if the wind could spread your love? What if your sweetness could reach everyone? There'd be no wars. Maybe the birds will sing about your heart. Maybe the trees will whisper the word. Maybe the sun will spread your joy to the ones who lost their hope. Fill my head with roses. I can't help but dream away. Standing on a field with you and flowers everywhere. Maybe there is a star with your name. One thing I know is that there should be. There is no one who has a heart as pure, no, not like yours. Dreaming of you. Dreaming of you.
Once the stringers are all cut, next step is the treads. So we're going to make measurements for those. We got to cut them. They're all a little bit too long. They're 100 centimeters and I need them to be above 93, I think it is. So we're going to cut all those and then sand them up nice, as well as cut on the bottom. I like to stick my toe kick, my riser, into the tread a little bit. And my router bits don't actually fit my router, unfortunately, so we're going to do that on the table saw. Then everything's going to get stained, and then we're going to put it together. Okay, now that we've got that figured, we got to cut them all to width. We got all those cut. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 pieces. The next stage is to cut them for length. After we're done cutting them to length, you can see they got this rounded nice. This is what I would normally use my router to router this edge nice. Unfortunately, my router blades or bits and my router are not compatible, so I got to get that straightened around. We'll probably just sand it today. That'll be all right. Kind of sand it around. Then the last step is cutting a notch. We would want to cut a notch in here. This is not exact, I'm just showing you. Somewhere in here for the riser to sit in. Obviously it'll be wider than that. Somewhere around here maybe. Pretty hard to cut or draw straight with one hand, but you get the point. The risers where your toes bang against will be sitting in there. We'll be cutting that in the table saw as well. Now we got to make the notch for the riser. We don't want them to go all the way through because we don't want to see them on this side. Only the one side that's up against the wall. Next step, my hood's all crooked. Next step is to move the fence over. So we will move the fence over 1 saw blade width so we can do it again. In the end, we need a 2 centimeter gap in each board, almost 2, just shy of 2 centimeters, in order for the riser to fit inside. We've got those all done. We got to clean them out a little bit yet, but those are now ready for the risers. If you can picture that, and you have a little bit of a nosing on there. The next step is the stain and urethane department, which is already well into production. As Gorlin is working hard.
I worked hard.
Yes, and the sanding. I forgot about the sanding. You worked hard at the sanding, didn't you? Mm-hmm. You done a good job sanding it all up. Eli was the man on the sander. You sure did. Now Cora's going to stain it. We like to stain all the individual pieces before going together because it's hard to get into the little itty bitty cracks, and this does a nicer job. Urethane can be done later, but the staining, they're going to get that all done now, and then I will put it all together. And, oh, I got to cut all the risers yet. That's the next stage for me. And then we'll put it all together. And I'm afraid we might have missed a couple of steps. Sorry about that, but it's pretty straightforward. We put some drywall on the wall because you can't really do it after that well. And we have now gone ahead and mounted the stringer to the wall here. And we have put in another support post on this side and mounted a stringer to this. We are currently waiting for both the steps and the risers to be finished staining. Ariana's sanding them right now. Cora's staining them. As soon as that's done, we will glue them and put them all in. That's the plan. Nothing's complete without safety railings. So we got a temporary safety railing. We got to build a temporary baby gate yet, but no kid's gonna fall down there, and that'll make things better. Waiting for those steps though. Next step was putting them together. So we've got this put in. That is a tight fit, but it's in. One step ready to go. Okay, so this is going in that. I put a little bit of glue on that side, on this side, and a little bit of glue in the bottom, and then I bang this in. It's actually a bit of a tight fit, but that's okay. Bang it in. Never hit it with a hammer. Always use a piece of wood, block of wood, in between the hammer and whatever you're working on, so that you don't damage it. And anyway, working very well. Not completely done yet, but gives you a real good idea what it's gonna look like. I will show you. Gotta finish it, of course, and then I'll show you all the finishing touches later, but that's a good start. There we go, I think. Maybe I'll go down the ladder. Somebody turn the lights off down there so you can't see. I gotta do this one yet, but it takes a little bit of extra touches. None of these are screwed down yet, they're just sitting here. This one's gonna be a little bit extra touches because it needs to fit in here nicely. But all in all, I gotta go turn this lights on. Oh. Oops, this light's. And I can turn this one off. There you go. So there is the stairs. Pardon the mess down here, folks. She's coming. It's gonna look pretty slick. Couple more steps down here and one more up there.
Hey, darling. Can I tell you what's been on my mind? Sick and tired of the 9 to 5 in the city life. Hey, darling, we could get out of town, see the beautiful world around, wanna see it now. Pack our bags and get in that car. Leave a little note and we'll drive real far. Let's get out, we can leave this city. Let's drive to the open air. Yeah, the countryside is so pretty.
That's nice to say bye.
Baby, don't you understand that we only get one